What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and I've been following the Tate situation on this channel for quite some time. I've tried to reserve judgment. I think that a lot of people's minds might be made up. I think that there's certainly things that are part of his character, and then there are certainly things that look very suspicious. But what my position has been and will remain to be is that the guy deserves his day in court, and it's up until now been something that is continually being delayed. If you know all of the various claims that are put forth against not just him, but his brother, the case you would think, by the time someone makes an arrest would have been pretty ironclad, but it really doesn't seem that way now, as his trial has been, or his release has been denied multiple times, so he's sitting in custody without a trial, and that, something as an American, I don't care for. People have a right to trial, and from what I understand, in Romania, they can go 180 days or something like that before actually placing any kind of formal charges on the guy, giving him his trial. So he had appealed to be released, and it was just maybe a few hours ago. It has been denied, but this is a weird situation. At the end of 2022, Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan were detained by Romanian authorities on suspicion of trafficking and all sorts of other things. 2 other females were also arrested. They also have already taken all of his cars and his assets and all this stuff. This generally seems like something that would happen after you've been charged, or once you have like some very strong case. But now, since then, as the investigation has continued, the controversial pair has remained in custody amid numerous appeals to be released early. Now, a lot of people will rightfully point out that they have the means, or at least they used to have the means, the money, the connections to be a flight risk, which is why you might think, hey, these people get denied bail, but they've already seized everything. And it'll be interesting to see what is actually put forth in the court of law. I still remain very skeptical that this will ever go to trial. I just have this weird feeling. I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's weird. But now, so as per reports from Romania, the Tates were granted separate appeals to once again be released early, with Andrews coming today and Tristan's tomorrow. Andrews has since been rejected by the judge, with controversial personality remaining detained until March 29th at the earliest. That'd be, another 2 weeks. Though he has until March 16th to appeal, which I assume he will. Quote, the court rejects the request to replace measure of preventative arrest with the measure of judicial control on bail formulated by the defendant TEA as inadmissible in principle. With the right to appeal within 48 hours of communication, a judge told the Romanian outlet. Sky News has also confirmed that Tate's lawyer will again appeal the decision. With Andrew's appeal being rejected, it's very likely that his brother's appeal will also fail, and that the pair will remain in custody for at least another 2 weeks. And what's interesting about this is, so you don't hear a lot about Andrew Tate anymore, and that's exactly what kind of the media wants. There's been some acolytes that have kind of come up in his absence, different podcasts and things like that have filled the void. That's the thing kind of that I was talking about. Like, the media, they wanted this guy gone so badly because they believed he was such a terrible influence on youth. And I don't know if they're true or not. He certainly said some based things, but he also said some wild things. But I'm old enough to kind of be able to know the difference, tell the difference. I'm not some teenager, so I don't know. But what I can say is this is very suspicious for me to keep this guy locked up without a trial. All you're really doing is continuing to make him a martyr, to continue to sow seeds of doubt that you actually have what it takes to charge the guy. If you think you're going to win the court case, why aren't you doing that? A lot of people celebrated when he got arrested, and my position has been and will continue to be, the guy gets his day in court. I don't know if I would kick it with him. I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would call me some sort of soy-infused ignoramus anyway. but I have continued to be consistent in that he deserves his day in court. This article via Sky says Andrew Tate's appeal against the 30-day extension of his detention in Romania has been denied, meaning the controversial social media influencer will remain in prison. I just think this is not the win that so many people will continue to think it is. Tate, a British U.S. citizen, was appealing in Bucharest against the judge's decision on the 21st of February to keep him in a Romanian prison for another 30 days. What's going to happen if something happens to him in prison? He'll be a martyr forever, and thus, solidify his Matrix theory as being absolute fact. I just think if you're worried about it from an ideological standpoint, then you got to give this guy a speedy trial. If you had the evidence that you claim you do months ago when you arrested him, why hasn't he been charged? Why hasn't he been formally given his day in court? Again, I am not on the inside of the investigation, so if there's all sorts of information in there that I don't know about, that's fine. I'm not trusting some 10-second clip that somebody on Twitter puts out and says, see, proof, especially in the days of AI now. You've got to see everything in context and in its full, full and original format. The rejection of the appeal means he will remain in detention at least until March 29th. It's the fourth time that Tate has requested to be released from custody since his arrest last December. So the guy's been in prison without a day in court for going on 3.5 months now, over 100 days. Before the latest court decision, a post appeared on Tate's Twitter account that says, if you want a life people will aspire for, you'll need to be prepared to defend it. Tate's outspoken spokesperson said afterwards, quote, we are disappointed in this outcome as we had high hopes to see Andrew reunited with his family. His legal team will be appealing this decision within the 48-hour time frame. The 36-year-old former professional kickboxer and his brother, Tristan, are being investigated over some serious claims. They are also being detained on other suspicions like organized crime and things of that nature. Now, they've been taken into custody on December 29th. So that gives you, 290? I mean, we're getting close. We're like probably 120 days now. They've been in prison without a trial. 2 Romanian women were also detained alongside the brothers, who have also not been formally charged. So you have 4 people in prison without charges. Now, if this guy is as bad as everyone says he is, it feels like at least one of these 4 people would have gotten some formal charges by now, right? It just feeds this little like brain worm in your head where it's like, look, I'm not saying I'd want the guy dating my daughter, okay, but how much of this stuff how strong is their case really? How strong is their case really? Because, the spokesperson for Romania's anti-organized crime confirmed Tate's latest request for bail was rejected at a hearing in Bucharest this morning. It's not clear what bail conditions were proposed by Tate's legal team. In Romania, it's rare for defendants under preventative arrest for serious crimes to request posting bail. More common are requests to be placed under other judicial conditions, such as house arrest or geographical restrictions. Tate's appeal has been rejected after the brothers lost an earlier appeal back on February 21st. Tristan's fresh bail hearing is tomorrow. Romanian authorities says they seized goods and money worth almost 3.25 million euro or pounds from Tate's villa, including luxury cars. He has repeatedly claimed that Romanian prosecutors have no evidence and their alleged case is political conspiracy designed to silence him. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. The truth is probably somewhere in between. However, the agency investigating him said that after the December arrests, that he had identified 6 people who would come forward in the trafficking case who were allegedly subjected to all sorts of terrible things. The agency said that they were lured under pretense of love and later intimidated and put under surveillance and this type of other things. If this stuff is true, then why, it feels like he should be getting charged, right? He's going on 100+ days in prison without being charged. Do you think that this does more or less for the people who believe that it's all a conspiracy, right? There were lots of people on the internet that legitimately believed the pizza box and a little back and forth with Greta Thunberg on Twitter is what got him arrested. I mean, you have this kind of stuff, you know, and all his acolytes out here. You've done nothing to really silence him. All they've done is make him a martyr. If he's guilty, give him a trial and give him a fair trial, which I don't know anything about Romanian court, so I don't know if he'll get one or won't get one. I don't know. I just can't know. The only person I know that might know would be V. But, you know, other than that, the guy's got to get his day in court. Otherwise, all you're doing is proving everything he's ever said. So it's weird. You know, people will celebrate that this guy is in prison without trial continually because they don't like his politics or they don't like some of the things they said, or they saw a tweet and they're just convinced that he's the worst, you know, the worst possible thing on the planet. I don't know. I think it's somewhere in the middle. And until it's all out in court, I remain unconvinced. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do make sure you leave a like on it, and we'll talk to you again real soon.